Hi everyone, my name is Stacy and I will be showing you how to use the free app Sketchbook Pro to create illustrations. Starting April 1st, the Sachem Public Library will be hosting an art challenge on our Instagram page at Sachem Library, and we encourage everyone to participate. The rules will be included on the posting. Sketchbook Pro by Autodesk is a great app for getting into digital art for beginners. It's free, has a minimal interface, and is very easy to use. You can install it on Android, iOS, or download the full desktop version on your computer, although the computer version is a little different. They have plenty of tutorials and information on their website. For this, I'm using the iPad Pro with the Generation 1 Apple Pencil. For beginners, you can pretty much use whatever you want. As long as you can download the app and use it, you can use any stylus that you have, just to get used to it. So for the April Art Challenge, you can use anything you want really to create the artwork. You don't have to use a digital device. You can hand draw it, whatever you prefer. This is just kind of like an incentive and encouragement to try something new if you haven't done it before. And I do recommend this app specifically to get you started. So I will be going over some of the main features. I will show you my art process when I'm using Sketchbook Pro, and I hope that you will all participate in this challenge. Okay, so this is our basic layout. When you open up the app, this is what you come to once you start a new canvas. If you have trouble with it, it's easy to find online how to just get to this point. But there is a little box in the top left corner where you can make a new sketch. You can share your images to other social media, and you can also visit your gallery. I think you do start off in the gallery when you first open this app. I already have mine kind of customized the way I want it. So you'll eventually find out what things you'd like to have set up in a certain way. So you can save your images from there, but this application does automatically save, so you don't have to constantly worry about, oh, if it closes out, am I going to lose everything? No, you're not. So it's pretty stress-free in that respect. On the left side here, you have all your brushes that it comes packaged with. Like I said, mine is customized to the brushes I like to use. All you have to do is visit the library, which is that tiny icon at the top of this menu, just above the brushes there, and you can actually click and drag and pick what brushes you want to feature. So I'm just showing you what brushes I have in case you're interested in finding them and using them. These are the ones that I will be using in these videos and any future videos. And this is the library, so you can see all the things that you get when you download this app, all for free. You don't have to worry about importing any special brushes. It's a lot of things to look through and play with. And this is how you swap. You just click and drag, and if you swap them into that basic section at the top, it will also reflect your choices on the left side there. So it's kind of like a quick access bar. So that little red circle there, if you tap on it, you can pick your colors. I like to say that top is white, bottom is black, and left is dull, and right is bright. The outer wheel on the outside, you can move that to choose your main color hue. This little thing can also be moved around. This little piece, if you just click and drag it, you can move it anywhere you want. On the right side, you have your layers. Layers help you separate aspects of your art so that they don't kind of interfere with each other. So a lot of artists, they like to put line art on one layer, they like to put color on another layer, and you'll see me doing that. If you see that layer is highlighted in blue like it is, that means that you have that layer selected and that's the one you will be working on. You can also set background colors if you'd like. The very bottom layer there is kind of a background color layer, so you can pick any shade you want if you don't want to start with a white canvas. I also want to point out that the back of the canvas there, if you pinch and zoom with your fingers, you can make it zoom in and out. So I'm just playing with the color backgrounds here for you. This video was made in advance, so I'm going to be talking over it, so I will try to keep up with what I'm doing in the video. This little button here, if you lose that color wheel, you just use that little tiny dot at the bottom of the screen, and you will be able to get it back by hitting the widget that kind of looks like it. By tapping and holding, you can choose colors that are already on the screen. So if you tap with your finger or stylus, you can pick up colors that are down, and then you can use that color in case you forget which one that you used previously. That little menu at the bottom also has an eyedropper if you prefer to use it that way. At the very top menu also there are undo and redo buttons. Those are those arrows, so you can use those if you make a mistake. You can use those to go back and forth in your work. Those sliders on the left side that are going up and down, the top one lets you choose the size, and the one below it is the opacity. So if you play with those sliders, you can make your brushes darker and larger, or you can make them smaller and lighter just by playing around with those. So I'm going to start a new canvas. So when I sketch, I usually tell my students that they shouldn't work from a very small detail outward. What they should do is kind of work with bigger shapes and draw very loosely. This way they don't, get so focused on one aspect of the drawing. Because when you focus on a little piece of it and then kind of you did all this detail, you did all this work, and then you start to look at the whole thing you're working on, you might get like, like now I can't change this because I did so much work in it. You get so invested. So the great thing about digital art is you don't have to worry so much about that because it's very easy to erase a mistake. But if you're working with a regular medium, especially, that can be kind of irritating. Luckily with digital art we have a lot of ways to fix and manipulate things. So for this I'm doing a spring theme, so I'm going to draw a fawn. It's basically a mythological creature. So if you remember Mr. Tumnus from Narnia, that's basically what a fawn is. And a lot of people like to kind of do like costumes and cosplay and stuff like that. I'm just using this very basic sketch brush here to adjust this. And again, I'm working on one layer. I'm going to just do some flowers, and as you can see I'm not really drawing a flower, like I'm just kind of making loopy circles just to get that done. But so I know as a place marker what I want where. Try to get these horns in the right place here. Kind of like antlers, I guess, not horns, but so yeah, and if you ever need inspiration, I like to use Pinterest. You can make what are called mood boards. So you can find pictures of things you like, you can put them in different categories. It's really neat to have, and they have so many creative images and art and photos on there that you can use to draw inspiration from. So if you ever get like artist block, or you're just like, I just don't know what to draw, it's a really good website to use, and you can get it as an app also. And what's cool is if you have an iPad or a larger tablet, you can, at least with the iPad Pros, you can pull up images next to these, and that's an easy tutorial to just look up on YouTube if you want to learn how to do that. So I just did these like little flowers around her chest here, and then we're going to draw her hands. Hands are very difficult and I mess them up a lot, but again what I like to do is I draw them loosely. So I know she needs a couple of fingers sticking out there. Gotta make sure you get the pinky and thumb in the right place, that's the most critical. And then later you can go in and maybe look at some reference photos and then really detail the hands. And see, now I'm working kind of across the whole image instead of just in one spot. So draw a little bird. Now I'm going to kind of eyeball how I want the background to look without getting too detailed again. So it's kind of like a leaf thing, I guess. Little flowers in the hair, represented by these weird scribbles. I did shadow lines under the neck. Sometimes I like to mark where a shadow might be, a heavy shadow like that. She'll have little flowers, kind of like a corset, but instead of the threads, we'll do little leaf patterns on her chest. Now I kind of go back and I kind of refine some of the details now that the overall image I'm kind of happy with. Just go back in and fill in some of these spots here. And I'm just using the same color. You can use any color you want. You can use black, you can use any shade. I like to use kind of muted colors though, because I don't know, I just like how it looks. I'm going to do some of the backgrounds, like a butterfly in there. Just a representation. It doesn't have to exactly look like a butterfly yet. It just kind of is representing one. So later when I really do my art, I can go in and paint the butterfly the way it's supposed to look, not just like these random shapes. So if you tap this crosshair shape here, you can use your fingers to pinch and zoom, and you can adjust how the image looks on the canvas. So I was too close to the edges and I wanted to kind of put it more in the center of the screen. I'm just going to kind of scribble over these bushes in the back here, bush type things. Just like to use little bumps for foliage and other environmental things like that. Putting little spots on her, because like a fawn, like a baby deer has spots that they get when they're little. And we'll do a bow for the belt. So yeah, this is basically how I work. And like I said, you don't have to worry about constantly saving this. The app pretty much saves it for you. But yeah, so for this theme, try to think of something spring themed. You can try to draw a fawn like I'm drawing in your own style, of course. You can draw anything you want. You can try to do a spring landscape. You can play with some of these other watercolor brushes that we have. There's very painty brushes that are in that library that you can go through and see what you come up with. And then just follow the rules. They'll be posted in the video comments below if you're interested in joining. Give her little cheeks, little rosy cheeks. Fill in the background. And just remember, if you want to actually save this to your camera roll, you do have to go to that little menu box in the top left corner and choose share, and then you'll see the option to save it to your camera roll. Okay, so that's my basic little sketch there. And I'm going to play a quick video of me doing the colors. When I do the colors, you just want to create another layer underneath your line art. So you'll see me do that in a bit. To make a new layer, all you have to do is click the plus sign in the top right corner of the screen. Well, it's not top right, it's on that bar on the right side, the top of the bar, sorry. Just doing some final touches. I hope you get the idea. Okay, so from here on I'm gonna probably speed up the video a little bit so you can see how I work. I'll pause it if I see anything that needs to be explained. So enjoy! Okay, so I just wanted to point this out. If you click on your layer, the menu pops up and you can use HSL adjustment to use these sliders that I'm using to change the colors on any layer. So I like to play with this a lot just to adjust my colors and make sure it looks right. You also might see me flipping the canvas back and forth, left and right. If you use that little tiny dot at the bottom middle of the screen, you can use the horizontal flip. And that's exactly what it looks like when you're looking at the menu. But you can flip it back and forth. A lot of times artists use this method in all different kinds of digital softwares so they can see their errors in their drawing. Because sometimes you draw it one way and then you flip it over and it looks completely wrong because the way that you're maybe angled or the way you're looking at it from one perspective. But by flipping it, you get to see the other perspective. The shoulder is totally wrong, so it's gonna have to be fixed. And at this point, this is still a sketch for me. Usually I use this as my underlying painting, and then I will do a more serious painting on top of it and make a lot of corrections. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of things wrong. It's very messy, but it's a good way to kind of get my ideas out and prepare it for my actual painting, which could take hours, depending on the difficulty and how many complex aspects there are of the drawing. So if you have any questions, just let us know, and I look forward to seeing your art. Thank you.